Hi everyone, welcome back to my series Lessons from Wilderness. In episode 1, we talked about what spiritual wilderness really is. We saw that it is not punishment, it is preparation. Today in episode 2, we are going to see why the wilderness is always placed between deliverance and dominion. God doesn't just bring you out, He helps you to walk in victory. So here's the truth you need to know. The wilderness always comes between deliverance and dominion. Deliverance is when God brings you out, and dominion is when you walk in victory. But in between, there is a wilderness. And if you wonder why you are in the season right now, let's break it down. Let's start with Israel. God brought them out of Egypt with mighty miracles like plague, crossing the Red Sea, freedom from slavery. But before they could walk into the land of milk and honey, they had to go through the wilderness. Why? Because God had to get Egypt out of them. They were freed from slavery, but slavery didn't get out of their mindset. Wilderness is where God develops you. Wilderness is where God teaches you to depend upon Him. It is where He trains you to trust His voice. That's why the wilderness sits right after deliverance and before dominion. The wilderness bridges the gap between deliverance and dominion. Now think about Jesus. Right after His baptism, the Spirit descended like a dove, and the Father's voice from heaven said, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased." That was an ultimate moment of approval. But immediately after that, Jesus was led into the wilderness, and there He was left hungry, and there He was tempted for 40 days. Because why? Because before He has to step into His public ministry, healing the sick, teaching the kingdom word, raising the dead, He had to defeat the enemy in private. Your wilderness is where you win the battles in private so that you can work for the Lord in public with authority. Wilderness is not a wasted time. Wilderness is a training ground. It's a character school. It's a spiritual boot camp. Wilderness gets Egypt out of you. Dominion puts you in the promised land. Deliverance brings you out of Egypt, but wilderness takes Egypt out of you. It changes your mindset. It develops you. It develops you to the character that God wants you to be in. So don't despise wilderness. Without it, you are not ready for dominion. So if you are in that in-between season, you are not where you used to be. Now you are delivered, but you're still not in the promised land. If you're in the in-between season, then I want to remind you that wilderness is a proof that God has kept a life of victory for you. Psalm 23 verse 4 says, "Even though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." You are going through the wilderness, not staying in it. Deliverance is your past, dominion is your future, and wilderness is just your present training ground. Don't give up in your wilderness. It's not the end, it is the in-between. God didn't bring you out to leave you stranded. He brought you out to take you in. If this encouraged you, comment "I'm on the way to dominion," and send this to a friend who you feel is stuck in between, who you feel is in the in-between season. Remember, your wilderness is a bridge to your blessing. God bless you.